Good day, all of my poison players. Today, we're going to talk about a deck that's inside this Dragon Shield box. We got more Viridian besieged lands. We've got islands in here. We've got plains in here, mountains. We've got all the colors because it's a 5-color Infect deck. Let me go ahead and separate these lands real quick. And then I'll talk to you about what this deck does. My friends told me I should be ashamed of myself, but I'm not. I'm just kidding. Infect makes my friends sad, but it makes me happy. So the idea behind this deck is to mutate creatures onto Infect Creatures. Woo! So we've got the Icarats here. And he's just a little 2-1 by himself. But then you slap a Boneyard Lurker on him, and he becomes a 4/4 Infect. And whenever he mutates, I can return target permanent card from my graveyard to my hand. So whenever I lose one of my Infect guys, I can just go get him. We've got the Viridian Betrayers in there, who doesn't have Infect, but he has Infect as long as an opponent is poisoned. So he is effectively an Infect creature because my opponents will be poisoned. We've got the Blight Widow to mutate onto. She's a 2/4 reach Infect for 4 mana. She is a spider. We call spiders spooters in our friend group. So I was going to say she's a spooter, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew what that meant. We also have the Phyrexian Digester. He's a 2/1 Infect for 3, artifact creature. And we've got the Toxic Nim, who's a 4/1 Infect. Pay 1 black, and you can regenerate him. We've got I'm going to go ahead and separate all the Infect creatures. Oh, look, my favorite guy. I have to throw a Blight Bomba in there. If you guys have watched my other videos, you know about the Blight Bomba. He's a Blight Mamba. We have Tel Jihad Fallen. Tel Jihad Fallen. That sounds funny. He's a 3/1 pro artifacts, and he has Infect. He's an elf warrior. We got the Viridian Corrupter, who's a 2/2 Infect, and when she enters the battlefield, I can destroy a target artifact. We got the Chained Throatseeker, who's a 5/5 Infect, but he can't attack unless the defending player is poisoned. But of course, that's always no problem. We have the Scourge Servant, who's a 3/3 Infect. We've got the Tangle Angler, who's a 1/5 Infect, and I can pay a green. That target creature block Tangle Angler this turn if able. So it's basically like a built-in lure. We've got the Phyrexian Juggernaut, who's a 5/5 for 6. He has to attack each turn if able. This guy gets me in a little bit of trouble. He's a lovely Infect guy, but that having to attack every turn really draws people's attention. I also got a Bestow creature in here. I'm going to separate the non-mutate creatures now. So, of course, we've got to have Atrexa, Praetor's Voice, in there because she proliferates at man step. But she also is a 4/4 Flying Vigilance Death Touch Lifelink. We got the Chromanticore that I can bestow on any of my Infect creatures. Gives them Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink, and +4/+4. Why not in a 5-color deck? We got a lot of Cheering Harvesters because whenever my creature mutates, each opponent will sacrifice a creature. Having lots and lots of these triggers is very nice to clear the board. And all I'm doing in this deck, for the most part, is playing creature spells. And I want to have a lot of mana, so I threw a Nikki of the Old Ways in there. I can't cast non-creature spells, but whenever I tap a land for mana, I can add 1 mana of any type that land produced. Double mana is always good. And Chromatic Lantern is in there just because we're playing 5 colors, and we want to make sure we can just tap our stuff for whatever we want. I've got a couple of those in there. We got, I forgot about this guy. We got a Nico Bolas Planeswalker in here. I'm playing 5 colors, and I've got him recently, so I wanted to try him out. His +3 is destroy target non-creature permanent. His -2 is gain control of target creature. His -9 is he deals 7 damage to target player. That player discards 7 cards, then sacrifices 7 permanents. Ouch. Okay, so here are the mutate creatures. We've got Bracos, Apex of Forever. So he's going to make one of my Infect Creatures a 6/6 trample. And I can cast this guy from my graveyard. So I can just keep getting him back. This is just a variant of the Apex of Death. So these are the same guy. But this is the Godzilla. It was part of the Godzilla variants. But he's a 5/5 Death Touch lifelink, and whenever this creature mutates, I can return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from my graveyard to the battlefield. So it's nice just to go and get my whole team back. That's why I got 2 of them. Not only because Biollante looks fucking awesome. Ooh, oh, ah. We got Scion of Draco. He's a 4/4 that costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands I control. So he can be 10 mana less. You can technically cast this guy for 2 mana. And he's a 4/4 flying. Guy that gives each creature I control Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, First Strike if it's red, and Travel if it's green. So it basically gets all those abilities if it's all the colors. But remember, in Mutate, the top card of the mutated creature is what colors it is. So it doesn't retain all the original colors of the infected creature. We got Auspicious Strix, or Starix. Wow, I completely butchered that. Let's try that again. Auspicious Starix. He's a 6/6 for 5, or you can mutate him for 6. And whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of my library until I exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Put those permanent cards onto the battlefield. I used to get absolutely wrecked by people using this card in Arena when it was in Standard. So I had to put it in this deck. Then we got a couple Insatiable Hemophage. Just because they make people lose life and I gain life for each time it's mutated, and it gives my Infect Creatures Death Touch. Another Boneyard Lurker, just a variant of the art. And then we've got Snapdacks, Apex of the Hunt. He's a 3/5 and a double strike. Whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. It kind of reminds me of like Lightning Helix, because it's red and white, and it like drains life when you deal damage. So those are all my guys that I can mutate onto my Infect Creatures. I haven't seen anybody with this idea yet. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one who thought about it, but it certainly is an original idea, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you guys later. And remember to stay infectious!